Alright, so this is gonna be a quick review of all the cards that are coming out in Showdown in the Badlands, which is a new Hearthstone expansion. I believe the expansion drops today, but I'm unsure, so this is gonna be quite a quick review. No edit done, no nothing, just like a review of all the cards. The review is gonna be primarily based on Arena, just because that's the mode I play the most, other than like just trolling around in ranked. I mean, if you watch my Hearthstone content, I do a lot of weird stuff in ranked. I don't really play any meta decks for the most part anyway. I just try whatever I feel like. So these are gonna be rated from an Arena player's perspective. Alright, let's get started with rogue cards. First we have Valorok Windblade. While this is in your hand, play 3 cards from other classes to reveal Valorok's true form. And the true form is a 3-mana 3/6 with charge. After this attacks, discover a card from another class. It costs 3 less. Okay, so basically if you play cards from other classes, you then get more cards from other classes. I think this is a fun card, but it's obviously kind of deck dependent, so I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 star rating. Like, you need the discover, you need the stuff to get cards from other classes. Rogue has a lot of it, it's not gonna be hard to get, but at the same time, you do need it. So yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's particularly great, but the true form is pretty good, so yeah. Also, charge as a keyword seems to be a little bit back, so I do like charge as a keyword. I think it is underutilized. This is a way to design charge that's good, by the way. This is great. Alright, next card. Wait, what? Okay, that's weird. Hold on. I wanted to get the rogue cards first. Anyway, okay, let's see. So, Bounty Wrangler, 3-mana 3/4, quick draw and combo, get a coin. So, combo is if you play a card first, you get the coin, and quick draw is if it entered your hand this turn. So, I think this is pretty good, honestly. Like, a 3-mana 3/4 is always fine, and it's pretty easy to either quick draw or combo, I feel like, especially with a low cost card. Yeah, this is fine. I'll give it like 4 stars. I think it's good. Does it work now if I do this? Yeah, okay. I don't know why it didn't work at first. Okay. Let's see. Stick up 1 mana. Discover a quick draw card from another class. Okay, so this is basically... There's a lot of these 1 mana discover something card from another class, which is great. But I think that for this one specifically, it's a little bit better than the other ones just because it's specifically a quick draw card, right? You can control when a quick draw card enters your hand, so you'll get the benefit, because you can only get the benefit if it entered your hand that turn. So I think that this is actually a little bit better. Normally I would rate these 1 mana discover a blank from another class, would probably be rated around 2 stars, so I'll give this one 2.5 just because I feel like the quick draw bonuses are like fine. So yeah, it's still not amazing, but I think it's fine. Then we have Shell Game. Get a random epic, rare, and common card from other classes. So it's a 3-mana draw 3, let's call them average cards. I would say this is like fine in Arena, especially just because card generation is typically decent. And if we compare this to like Arcane Intellect, you probably would rather have that, but I think this is fine because you get like 3 cards. They're from other classes, so class cards are often slightly better than neutral cards. And, well, the whole from other classes thing is Rogue's thing, right? So I think this is actually pretty good. I'll give it a 3-star rating. I would rate Arcane Intellect around 2.5, 2 stars-ish in this day and age, because I mean Hearthstone has changed a lot, right? So I would definitely go with that. Alright, next we have Wishing Well, 5-mana 0/7, not promising. After you play a coin, get a random legendary minion from another class and set its cost to 1. Oh, that's pretty interesting, actually. Like, okay, so I think this is like fine. It's not great. I mean, you need it. It's deck dependent, right? I mean, half of the games this doesn't do anything if you don't have any coin generation. But we did see the bounty whatever earlier that can give you coins. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's great. I'm gonna give it like 2 stars, but this is gonna be in every highlight montage ever. So yeah, this is gonna be one of those highlight montage cards, I think. 2 stars though. Dart throw. Throw 2 damage darts at random enemy minions. If both hit the same minion, get a coin. Okay, so this is interesting. If they only have one minion and it has at least 3 health, you always get the coin. So there's some amount of skill in essentially like there's some amount of like playing around this card, which I like. Obviously there is like innate randomness in it that you can still technically hit the same minion twice, but you know, it's fine. I also think this is like pretty good. I mean, it's cleave with an upside, right? Plus it can hit like all the damage onto one minion. Oh. I mean, I think I'll give it like, I don't know, probably a 3-star or something, because if you can just get the 4 damage onto one minion, it's really good, right? And even if you just get a cleave, it's also like okay-ish. Like, obviously cleave is not the best card, but like at a baseline, cleave is okay, right? So yeah, it's cleave with an upside. And now it doesn't work again for some reason. That's so strange. Anyway, 777s. Okay, 777. I see what they're doing. Okay. Deal 7 damage to a minion, draw 7 cards. I think this is... I honestly think this is kind of bad just because it's really slow. Like, yeah, you deal with 1 minion probably, but... And you do refill your hand, but I don't know, like, this seems... This doesn't seem great to me personally. I like the flavor text though. If you count the 7 in the name, there's actually 4 total 7s, not 3. Huge oversight from the designers. That's pretty funny to me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this card is great. I'll give it like 1.5 stars. I think it's simply too slow for Arena. You might have a deck that can run it, but it's gonna be pretty rare. Then we have Bloodrock Co. Shovel. Death Rattle. Excavate a treasure. So let me look at excavate. So dig for increasingly rare treasures and resets after the highest rarity. Okay. If you get 4. Okay, so this is another card, I think, from this expansion. Okay, cool. So it's a 1 mana 1/3 weapon. I think that's basically all you have to do. And then you get like I think it's 2 mana 2/2 with an upside. I think it's like those adventurers or whatever. I mean, this is like fine, right? It's not the worst. It's just like another weapon. You can play it on 1 and get the death rattle on 2 if you hero power, so there is that too. I don't know, I'll give it like a 2.5 star. I think it's decent. I think it's fine. Then we have Antique Flinger. Battle Cry. It's a 4 mana 5/4. Battle Cry, if you've excavated twice, destroy an enemy minion. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. That's honestly a pretty good card. Obviously, it's deck dependent, but it's a really good upside. I'll give this a 5 star actually, because you don't really want a 4 mana 5/4, but it's not the end of the world if you have it. And then this is a really, really good upside. This is a great card. Love that. And we have Drilly the Kid. Let's see. It's a 4 mana 4/3 mech. It looks like Vigar from League of Legends if he got mechanized. Like, the head just gives me Vigar vibes. I don't know why. Anyway, Battle Cry, Quick Draw, and Death Rattle. Excavate a treasure. So it's pretty easy to get the Quick Draw and the Battle Cry. If you get the Quick Draw, you get the Battle Cry too, and then you also get the Death Rattle. You always get the Battle Cry and Death Rattle. So you always excavate at least twice. I think this is pretty good. I don't know what you get later in the excavation process, but I mean, it's card generation. It's probably decent, right? I'll give this a 4-star rating. I think this is fine. I think you can draft it in pretty much any deck. Okay, so apparently this is also bugged. So let's scroll down to Mage. Mesodoon the Fractured. 6 mana, 6/5. Battlecry. Draw an elemental. Split it into 2 halves. I have no idea what this means. Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to what this means, so I can't really rate it. Because I haven't seen how this interacts, right? I don't know what this means. What does this do? I guess what I'm thinking is that it splits the card in half, so you have the attack on one card and the health on one card. But that doesn't make sense, because that would mean you had a 0 health minion. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you have that? A 0 attack minion can make sense, but not always. Or is it like if it has 2 tribes, it splits the tribes in half? Like then it has like elemental on one and it has whatever other tribe on the other one? That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense either. Or does it mean that you just have 2 of them, like you copy it? This one's hard to evaluate because I have no clue how it works. I'm just gonna give this one a question mark and we'll see what it does, because I have no idea. I mean, from a stat perspective that draws a card, I'm just gonna go with the 2-star, I guess, but this splits it into 2 halves, makes no sense, so, like, I don't know. Is it that you, for instance, if you drew an 8 mana 8/8, you turned it into 2 4 mana 4/4s? That could kind of make sense, which I guess can be okay if they both keep the same battle cry, I guess. If that's how you have to understand it, then I guess 2.5 stars is more fair, but I'm unsure on what this means. So let's just go with, it's probably 2 stars if it just draws and you get 2 of them. Let's go with 2.5 if you get the cost reduction, like I just said, where it like splits the cost in half. God damn it, why does it do this? Damn it, website. Okay. Ooh, a new secret. Azerite Vein. Secret. When the enemy plays a card on the turn that it entered their hand, get a copy that costs 0. Interesting. So it's like how to play around the quick draw cards. Okay. Here's my problem with this, right? And I'm not sure how this works, but here's what I'm thinking. If the card that they play enter your hand during their turn, does it still cost 0 when it gets back to your turn? Because technically, that is not on the turn that it entered your hand, right? That was your opponent's turn. So this is kind of unclear. If you do get the quick draw effect, then this is better. If you don't, it's not as great, but it's probably still fine because you get a 0 mana card. That's fine for basically anything, right? I think this is pretty good. I'd probably give it like a 3 stars. Like, it's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of secrets, generally speaking, but this one is so specific that it might work, just because, I mean, entered your hand this turn, it kind of plays around with the whole quick draw mechanic, right? So I think this is pretty good. Heatwave. Deal 2 damage to an enemy minion and its neighbors. Quick draw to all enemies instead. Oh, it's pretty good. Honestly, like, this is pretty decent. I actually really like this. This is like an upgrade to Shooting Star, an upgrade to Arcane Explosion. Even if you don't get the quick draw, it's pretty decent. Like, this is actually, like, good. Like, it kind of reminds me of, what was it? It was this Hunter card that dealt 2 and then dealt 1 to the ones next to it, and then there was also one that dealt 1 to the middle and 2 damage to the adjacent ones. It's kind of like that, but like better, and then with an upside other than being 2 damage to 3 minions. This is just good. I feel like this is really good, actually. I would just give this like 5 stars. I think it's great, actually. The quick draw effect is insane, but like even the base card is good. Stargazing. 2 mana spell, arcane. Draw a different arcane spell. If you play it this turn, cast it twice. It casts twice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously deck dependent, but fine, you know? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you're probably gonna draft arcane spells, I think. I'll give it like a 3-star. You might not want to cast everything twice, but at the same time, I mean, arcane spells are typically fine, so yeah, let's just go with a 3-star rating for that. Sunset Volley, 10 mana fire spell, deal 10 damage randomly split amongst all enemies, summon a random 10 cost minion. Now, this is one of the few cards I've actually played with a little bit in Arena. For context, I've played like 3 Arena runs, and you can actually access these cards in Arena. But I haven't like tried many of them just because of my limited amount of runs. So for this one, I don't know, like it's not great. The problem with this one is it's really slow. If you're already winning, then it's great, but then why do you need a 10 mana fire spell to help you out? Like, the 10 damage random split amongst all enemies is kind of underwhelming. It's like a split pyroblast you can't control, and then summon a random 10 cost minion is like, it's okay, but not great. There aren't that many amazing 10 cost minions, so this is probably like a 2-star. It's just too slow. Drafting one of them is probably okay, but definitely not more than that. Then we have Tathalin Bloodwatcher. This reminds me of Twisted Fate from League. Like, a little bit. Except, like, this guy's doing, like, more magical-esque stuff. I think it's his attire that gives me Twisted Fate vibes. Anyway. 4 mana, 2/5. Cards that didn't start in your deck cost 4 less, but not less than 1. Interesting. I mean, very deck-dependent, pretty bad stats. An insane cost reduction, but, I mean, what are you gonna use this with? Excavations, maybe? But that's about it, right? Mage doesn't really have a whole lot of, like, discover stuff, and, I mean, with the secret we looked at before, it's already reduced to 0, so you don't really need this. I think this is a 1-star card, because it's very deck-dependent. You might not have that many cards that work with it. The ones that do, I don't know, I mean, not great, I don't think. And we have Reliquary Researcher. 4 mana, 3/5. Battlecry, if you've excavated twice, cast 2 random mage secrets. Okay, so it seems like excavation is like a big thing, because it seems like every class has one of these, they're all researchers, I think, right? Wasn't the other guy up here also a researcher? Let me look. No, this one was a Flinger. Antique Flinger, and this is a Reliquary Researcher. Alright, well, I guess everybody gets one of these if you've excavated twice to something class-related. I think this is good. Again, depends on the excavations, but if the payoffs are gonna be this good overall, I think excavations are gonna be fine. I'm giving this like a 3-star. Random Mage Secret's not the best you can get, but it's pretty good with this stat line as well, so 3 stars, I think. Deck dependent, but a decent, like, a decent, what's it called? Upside for having the deck. Okay. Overflow Searcher. 4 mana, 3/2 elemental. Battlecry. Summon a copy of this for each turn in a row you've played an elemental. Huh. That's an interesting elemental, I guess. I guess you just have to have played one last turn for this to be fine at 4 mana, but I don't know, 4 mana for 2 3/2s is not great, I don't feel like. You'd need to get at least 3 to get the value from this. I don't know. This is obviously deck dependent. I don't feel like you're gonna draft enough elementals to, like, get enough of these to make it worth it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It doesn't actively lose you the game if you just get 2 of them, but I don't think it's great. And we have Preservation. Oh my god, that was a word. 2 mana frost spell, freeze an enemy, excavate a treasure. Okay. So yeah, you freeze, and what is all these related cards? What the heck is this? I'm so confused. Why is there a billion cards down here? Is this everything that somehow interacts with excavation? Can you excavate titans? Is that the whole thing? I'm beyond confused about the amount of related cards here. I'm not gonna look into all of that, but Freeze an enemy and excavate seems fine. Not the best, but not the worst. I'll give it like, I don't know, give it like a 2-star rating, I think. Just because I would give it a 1-star if the excavation bonuses weren't that great with the, like if you get those, if you've excavated twice cards, I feel like excavations are pretty decent. So that bumps it up to 2 stars for me. God damn it. There we go. Blast Mage Minor. 6 mana for Battle Cry. Excavate a treasure. For each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. I mean, that's pretty good just because the deal 1 damage to a random enemy for each card in your hand is just a good text. There used to be a 6 mana 3/3 that only did that, and that was like pretty good, I thought. So I'm giving this one 4 stars just because I think the effect other than excavation is really strong. So yeah, that's a good card. Man, I swear, this website today. Okay. Slugmaw the Slumbering. 4 mana, 16/16 elemental beast. Rush taunt. Dormant for 8 turns. Excavate to awaken 2 turns sooner. Okay, so if you excavate 4 times, you get this guy out immediately. Okay, I mean, this is pretty cool. I will admit that. It is a lot of stats. I mean, and it is a taunt and has rush. It can deal with basically any minion in the game, which is good. But you have to have the deck to excavate, right? So, I don't know. If you excavate once, you get this on turn 10, right? If you excavate twice, you get it on turn 8. And by default, you get it on turn 12, which is pretty late in the game. I think you have to excavate like 3 times for this to be worth it, which I don't think you're gonna do very easily, necessarily. This is obviously pretty deck dependent. The payoff is pretty good, I would say, but this is a really hard condition to meet in Arena, I think. I think this is gonna be the type of card that's really good and constructed, but like isn't great in Arena. I'm gonna give it 2 stars in Arena because I don't think it actively loses you the game, but I think it's very specific and you need a very specific deck to play it. Then we have Badlands Brawler. 7 mana 4/4. Battlecry. Start a brawl. If you've excavated twice, this always wins. Oh! I love that! What a great card design! That's amazing, actually. They made this... You win the brawl. They made this work as a text. I love it. This is awesome. I am definitely trying excavate warrior as a deck at some point. I want to try this. This is cool as hell. Love this card. Amazing. But in Arena, I give it 4 stars. It's a really good payoff for excavation. Really good. I cannot overstate how amazing this card is if you get it to work. But it's obviously deck dependent, so I can't give it 5 stars. But I will give it 4 stars, and it's a 5-star card in my heart. I will draft it with the thought of getting excavation in every single warrior deck if I can. God damn it. Let's see this one. Reinforced plating. Gain 6 armor. Excavate a treasure. I can't say this word. I think this is too slow, honestly. I don't mind it, but it's like not good enough, I don't think. It doesn't do enough for 3 mana. I would have preferred this to be like either like a 1 mana gain 2 armor, excavate a treasure, or like a 2 mana gain 4 armor, excavate a treasure. I think 3 mana is just too much for this. Yeah. I'll give it a 2-star because excavating seems to have a lot of synergy and we want to get more of it. Like, we do want to draft excavations, but this one is just not great at all. There's probably a lot of cards you want over this. Misfire. 2 mana spell. Deal 3, 2, and 1 damage to random minions. Quick draw, choose the target. Oh! That's pretty good. I like this, honestly. I like this a lot. I'll give this 5 stars. I think it's really strong. It's kind of like Shooting Star, but like slightly worse, but also you can choose the target if you quick draw it, so this is really good. 5 stars for me. Bombos Throgren. Okay. Battle Cry. Shuffle 3 TNT into your deck when drawn. Blow up a card in the enemy hand, deck, and battlefield. Oh, interesting. It's obviously slow. I mean, typical warrior, right? Having slow cards. But like the payoff is decent. I think it might be too slow in arena though. It's probably pretty good in control warrior, like generally speaking. I think I'll give this like probably 2 stars. I think you can draft it if you have a very control-oriented deck, but you need to have a really good control deck for this to work. So, yeah. It's very close to being a 1 star for me, just because I think it's really, really slow. Blast Charge. Destroy a damaged enemy minion. Excavate a treasure. Now we're talking. This is good. So this is execute with excavation. Love it. 5 stars. This is good. Execute is generally speaking a pretty good card. Excavation seems to be good as well. 5 stars from me. Unlucky Powder Man. 2 mana, 2/2 undead. Taunt, Death Rattle, give taunt minions in your hand and deck +1/+1. It's alright. I don't like playing a 2 mana 2/2, generally speaking. I'm probably giving this like 2 stars because while you do get quite a lot of stats from this, or have the potential to get quite a lot of stats, I am not sure how many taunts you're gonna draft. This is pretty deck dependent. The payoff is pretty good, but playing a 2 mana 2/2 is also kind of sad, and if you don't get it early, it's even worse. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of not great. I don't think it looks really good, right? But I don't think it's good. And we have Detonation Juggernaut. 5 mana, 3/6 mech. Taunt, Battlecry, give taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. So more taunt synergy. I guess they are getting quite a lot of taunt synergy. So this one I think is better. Just, I mean, it only does it for your taunt minions in your hand. So maybe it's slightly worse because of that, but it's also a bit more forgiving stat line wise. Probably give this one 2.5 stars. I think it's slightly better than the Powder Man, because at least this one has the health to be a taunt. And then we have Blast Tortoise. I see. 6 mana 2/7 beast. Taunt. Battlecry. Deal damage to all enemy minions equal to this minion's attack. So this is the payoff card for the taunt synergy, or at least one of them. I don't know. I mean, this is pretty good, like, baseline, I would say. It's an AoE on a taunt, so you've already, like, kind of damaged the minions, so technically it's a 4-attack taunt minion, because you already damaged all the minions too. I'll give it, like, a 3 star. I think this is good. I mean, it gets better if you have more taunt synergy, but it's good on the baseline. And we have Battle Pickaxe. That's a pretty sick artwork, gotta say. I like that art. 3 mana 4/1 weapon. After you play a taunt minion, gain +1 durability. Yeah, I mean, decent, I guess. Deck dependent, but like decent. If you don't play a taunt minion, you just get like a shadow ball where you take damage, right? So yeah, I mean, which is like fine, I suppose. That's the baseline, and then I mean, you are probably gonna be able to play at least 1 taunt, which then you have like a 4/2 weapon for 3 mana, right? But you're not gonna swing on the turn you play this, for the most part, because you want to also play a taunt before you swing. So it's not actually a 3 mana deal 4. It's probably more like a 4 mana. You play this, you play a little taunt, and then you swing. I mean, it's not bad. I think I'll give this 3 stars as well. I think it's a fine payoff. Then we have this Paladin, the next one. No, it is not. Wait, why is neutral the next one? I am so confused about this website. Okay, Paladin is the next. We're gonna scroll back to the neutrals after. Okay. Let's see. 6 mana legendary spell. The Badlands Bandits. Get 8 3/2 bandits with bonus effects. Any that can't fit in your hand are summoned instead. Crusty with Divine Shield, Rusty with Taunt, Sandy Red with Rush, Pearly with Wind Fury, Surly with Stealth, Dusty with Poisonous, Mo with Lifesteal, and Burly with Reborn. I wonder if this is like a... Well, but there's 8 of them. I don't know, it's gonna like say it seems like a Snow White reference, but there's not 7 of them, there's 8 of them. That's kind of interesting. So the more cards you have in your hand, the more of these you're gonna summon. You're always gonna get 1 in your hand because you're gonna play this card. So even if you have 10 cards in your hand, you're gonna get 1 of these into your hand. And then bandits assemble. Got it. I see. And then you're gonna summon the rest of them, which they all seem like kind of fine, right? I mean, if you summon many of them, like, you're gonna have like a pretty good bang for your buck. You want to summon at least 4, right? If you summon 4, you're technically somewhat well off, because then you've summoned what is essentially 4 2-drops worth of mana, right? So if you summon 3, you're going even on mana, so you want to summon more than that. I think this is decent. If nothing else, it's like a lot of card generation, right? I think I'll give it 3 stars. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's okay. And we have Living Horizon. Taunt, Divine Shield, 10 mana, 4/6 elemental. Cost 1 less for each other card in your hand. So, okay, so like Paladin is getting this like cards in your hand theme. Like amount of cards in your hand. Okay. That's pretty cool. I don't mind this, but it's like pretty deck dependent, right? Because how many cards are you gonna have in your hand realistically? Let's say you just have 4 cards in your hand on a baseline, right? I think that's pretty realistic. Then this is a 6 mana 4/6 with Taunt, Divine Shield, which is like not bad. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. I'll give this like a 2 star. I think it's very deck dependent, but like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Then we have Lawful Longarm, 5 mana 1/5, another Twisted Fate attire. Like, this is so fun to me. Rush Lifesteal, Battlecry, gain +1 attack for each other card in your hand. Okay, so this is like the... There was that Rush card, the 1/7, I think it was, that had Taunt and Rush and gained attack. It gained 4 attack on the turn you played it. This just gains the attack and keeps it, but it also has Rush and Lifesteal, which is pretty good. Yeah, this is probably also, it's like, this is probably a 3-star card just because Rush is good. Rush as a keyword is good, and if you just have 4 cards in your hand, you have a 5/5 with Rush and Lifesteal. That's pretty good. Or 4 other cards, I should say. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Lay Down the Law, 2 mana tradable. Holy Spell. Set a minion's attack and health to 1 quick draw, then deal 1 damage to it. Oh, okay. So this is a very literal quick draw, because like, if you draw quick enough, you also kill the minion. That's pretty fun. I like that. Like the flavor. Let's see. I think I'll give this like... I think I'll actually give this 5 stars based on the tradable alone. The fact that it's tradable means that you can get it back, right? You can get it into your hand again later. Which is really, really powerful with an effect like this. So yeah, 5 stars. And we have Holy Cowboy. Oh, the artwork for this is amazing. It's like a holy cow, and it's like riding what looks to be like a... I don't think this is a cow. I think it's like a something else, or like a horse. I don't know what this is. That's a great art. That's amazing. And his lasso looks like a halo too. Like, it's got this glow on it. This is such a perfect artwork. Love that. Oh, he's writing a Kodo according to the flavor text. Kodo boy. Got it. Okay. Anyway, 3 mana 4/3. I got so distracted by that art. That's awesome. Battle Cry, your next holy spell costs 2 less. Okay, I mean, that's fine, right? Paladin has a lot of holy spells, and this is just like a finely statted 3-drop in Arena. I give it like a 2.5 star. This is fine, maybe 3 depending on your deck. Honestly, 3 stars because the payoff is like fine, and it's not only this turn, it just like persists that your next holy spell is 2 less. So yeah, that's fine. Alright. Hi-Ho Silverfang. Okay, interesting. 2 mana 2/1 dragon. Divine Shield, Death Rattle, draw a holy spell. Sure, this is perfectly fine. This is a perfectly fine card. I'll honestly give this a 4 star. I think for the most part you're gonna draft holy spells, and I think a 2 mana 2/1 with Divine Shield is fine. With the Death Rattle, draw a specific type of card. That's great. Let's see, what is this one? Deputization Aura. I struggle with that one too. 3 mana holy spell. Your leftmost minion has +3 attack and lifesteal. Lasts for 3 turns. That's pretty cool. I don't think it's that amazing though, sadly. Actually, wait, maybe it is, because if you swing with your leftmost minion and then it dies, then your next minion becomes your leftmost minion, and then that one gets the buff. So this is actually a really skill testing card, because you're gonna like think about, how do I place my minions depending on if I have this card in my deck. I'm gonna go with giving this 3 stars just because of the interaction of having to, you can trade off a minion and then the next one gets the bonus, and you can continue that chain if you're really good at placing, you know, your minions correctly. Which is actually pretty good. I'll give it 3 stars. Alright, Showdown. This has Wild West written all over it. I love it. 2 mana spell. Both players summon 3/3/3 outlaws. Give yours rush. Oh, interesting. And what does the outlaw look like? It's just the dude from the picture, but from the front, presumably. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is like fine, right? If you're behind, this is a really good card, but do you really want to play as if you're from behind? My thought is that if they don't have any board space, you just get the 3 outlaws and then you're pretty happy, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really like these mirror effects. I think I'm gonna give this one 1 star, just because I feel like if you both summon these, like, while you might be able to use yours with, like, maybe you have the lifesteal effect on the aura card, maybe you have, like, whatever else, but I don't know. I just find this kind of clunky and not really great. Next we have Prismatic Beam. I love that artwork. That's awesome. 7 mana, deal 3 damage to all enemies, cost 1 less for each enemy minion. Now this I like, because on the baseline it's like not great, but you can pretty easily get it down to like 4 mana, right? So yeah, that's pretty good. I'll honestly give this one 4 stars as well. I think this is pretty good. Like, generally speaking, you can probably get this down to 4 3 mana, which at 3 mana is just the Lich King card, right? Death and Decay, and that one's really good. So yeah, 4 stars, pretty good. Then we have a 3 mana 3/4 Spirit of the Badlands. It's an undead beast. Battle cry. If your deck has no duplicate, get a permanent mirage, or duplicates I should say. Mirage. At the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion in your deck that stays in your hand. That's interesting. So okay, so drafting no duplicate decks in Arena, speaking from experience, is not that easy. It is not the easiest thing to do. You can do it, but the problem is some cards are just so strong that you want multiple of them. That's the first issue. Second issue, at the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion from your deck that stays in your hand. Does that mean that you can constantly get copies of minions? That, like, even if you play the minion, you just get a new Mirage? Or does it mean that it just, like, swaps each turn and then you eventually play it? Either way, I think it's not the best, because not all of your minions are gonna be great, right? And I don't know, I mean, obviously you're gonna draft the best minions possible, but still, this is kind of not easy to do, because if you also are playing no duplicates, yes, this provides you a duplicate, but at the same time, the amount of, how do I say it, like, the amount of different minions you will need, well, it basically requires all your minions to be high quality minions that you want copies of, without having drafted copies of them when they were potentially offered. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because then you're drafting around a legendary you might not even be getting in your draft. I think this is a 3-star card. I'll give it 3 stars just because I feel like if you draft it early, maybe you draft around it. But I don't know, I feel like 3 stars is even pretty generous, because you're gonna maybe skip duplicates because of this that you would otherwise want. Okay, let me make sure that Hunter is the next one. It seems like it is working now. Okay. 10-gallon hat. Draw a minion, give a +1/+1 and death rattle, get a 10-gallon hat. So it's basically Explorer's Hat, but instead of playing it on the minions on board and getting it back, you draw a minion, give the minion that, and then play it and get the hat back. So it's kind of infinite card draw in a way. It's definitely better than Explorer's Hat. Let's just get that, like, let's get that straight first of all. I'd give this one like a 2-star. It is slow, but it's technically infinite draw, which is pretty darn good, honestly. In the late game, you probably do want this. In the early game, it's kind of not great. But yeah, I think 2 stars is pretty fair. Alright. That did not work. I've seen that one already. Bovine Skeleton. Okay. 3 mana, 3/3 Undead Beast, Death Rattle. If this has 4 more attacks, summon a Bovine Skeleton. Okay, so it's basically the, what is the name of it? The 5 mana 3/6 neutral villain, whatever his name is. Reoccurring villain or something. It's basically that, but this time it's just a Undead Beast and it's a 3/3. So the issue with this is you need board buffs for this to work, right? And Hunter doesn't really do that. I guess you can have 10-gallon hat on this, and then you get the 4 attack once, and then you get the death rattle one time. But then what are the odds of you buffing it again? Like, I don't know, this doesn't seem great to me. I'm gonna give this 1 star. It seems really deck dependent for not that much of a payoff. And we have Star Shooter, 4 mana, 2/3. Western Gun, love that. Great artwork. I love this like old Western theme of this expansion. Love it, it's so good. After your hero attacks, get an arcane shot. An arcane shot is just deal 2 damage for 1 mana. I mean, it's like fine, I suppose. I don't think it's great, actually. I think it's like iffy because the attack is so low, and then you get like the shots, and they also cost mana, and like, I'm actually not that big a fan of this. I'm gonna give it 2 stars just because it's a weapon, and weapons are generally good in Arena, but this is like a pretty bad weapon, I think. And we have Camouflage Mount. 4 mana spell. Give a minion +3/+3 and random bonus effect. When it dies, summon a chameleon. Oh, I see. So the chameleon then has that bonus effect as well. Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean, the bonus effects are decent, right? I mean, generally speaking, they're fine. They range from, like, fine to good. I mean, Rush is great, Wind Fury is fine, Reborn's good, Lifesteal is fine for the most part, Poisonous can be great, Stealth can be great, Divine Shield is awesome for the most part, especially if you've already played the minion you're about to attack. Taunt is generally fine. I'll give this a 5-star. I think it fits into most decks. You're gonna draft minions most of the time. You're gonna have like things to buff with this, and you know, giving it any of these keywords is great, and then you also get like the 3/3 afterwards. I think this is good. We already saw that card. Dang it, website. I thought you had fixed yourself. Spurfing. That is awesome artwork too. Love this. Alright, 5 mana beast, 2/5. Battlecry Death Rattle. Summon a random beast with cost equal to this minion's attack. So again, the whole like buff thing. I don't know about it. I'll give this 2 stars. It's really bad if you don't get... If this doesn't get buffed in some way, it's really bad, right? So yeah, 2 stars. Sneaky Snakes. 1 mana spell. Summon 2 1/1 snakes with stealth. This is fine. I mean... yeah, they're just like stealth snakes. That's fine. I'll give it like a 2.5 stars. Fine to just play this on turn 1. It's playing Alley Cat essentially, but like slightly better because they have stealth. And we have Silver Serpent, 3 mana, 2/3 beast, rush poisonous, quick draw, gain immune this turn. This is awesome. Love this card. I'm giving this 4 stars, I think, because rush poison is a great combo and quick draw, gain immune. That's pretty good. This is close to a 5-star for me, but I think I'll give it 4. I don't want to be too generous with the 5-star ratings. And we have Saddle Up. Oh my god. This looks so great. Oh my god. This right here, this is so cool. Like, I love this. The great art. This expansion's awesome. I love the flavor. Alright, 3 mana, spell, Saddle Up. Give your minions Death Rattle, summon a random beast that costs 3 or less. I mean, that's fine, I suppose. You need quite a lot of minions for this to be worth it. I'd say you need like 3 minions for this to be good, right? Because it's beast that costs 3 or less, meaning it could cost down to 1 mana. So if you get 3 1-mana beasts, I think that's like paying the card out, but like odds are that you're gonna get at least one that's more than 1 mana, so I think having 3 minions is probably optimal for this, or not optimal, but it is the baseline for this. And I think getting 3 minions in Arena is pretty easy. You can play minions first and play this. You could already have a board and play this. I think this is all fine and good. I'll give this a, I think, 4 star as well. I think this is fine. I swear, what's with the website? Let's see. Messenger Buzzard, 2 mana, 1/2 beast, Death Rattle, draw a beast, give minions in your hand +1/+1. This is like fine, right? I mean, it's just some card draw and then you buff your hand. Yeah, I mean, I would draft as many of these as possible, honestly. I'll give this a 4 star. The only problem with this one is that if you draw it late and you don't have many minions in your hand, then it's not great. It's also not the best stats on turn 2, but I think you can make up for it pretty quickly, especially if you mulligan and you have like realistically, you're gonna have a 3-drop in your hand after a mulligan, right? So, I think this is pretty good. Oh boy. Website, please. Alright. Demon Hunter. 2 mana spell, Pocket Sand. Deal 3 damage, quick draw. Your opponent's next card costs 1 more. That's an interesting effect. This looks like Sand Attack from Pokemon. That's so cool. It's like, wait, no, like he's like summoning the sand from his hand. He's like, yeah, that's fun. Okay. I don't know. I mean, this is like fine, right? 2 mana deal 3 is okay, and then the quick draw effect is okay too. It's actually really good if you draw it on turn 2, but odds are you're not going to draw it on turn 2, right? That's really specific. I'd give it 3 stars just because I don't think you're going to get the quick draw often enough to where this is relevant. If you get it later in the game, it's not the most relevant thing. But if you high roll and draw this on turn 2, you're probably winning the game, because then you have disabled their turn 3 curve, and that's probably what they mulliganed for, right? Like, this card is insane if you draw it on turn 2 specifically. If you draw it on any other turn, it might not do anything. So I'll give it 3 stars for the high roll, but at the end of the day, this is not great. And we have Fan the Hammer. Deal 6 damage split among the lowest health enemies. So what it's saying is that it deals 1 damage to the lowest health enemy, then does it again to the lowest health enemy, and then does it again to the lowest health enemy. I would think. And if there are multiple lowest health enemies, it just does it randomly. Yeah, I mean, this is like fine, right? It's like a split fireball, basically. And fireball is a decent card. I'll give it 2.5 stars. I'd probably give fireball 3. This is slightly worse because you can't control it as much. But then again, like, if they have a lot of low health enemies, like, or minions, then you just kind of kill all of them, so it's a good AoE spell. Yeah, I think this is fine. And we have Gunslinger Kurtress. 5 mana, 4/6 battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, fire 6 random 2 damage shots at minions in enemy's hand. That is interesting. That is really interesting. So that basically means you're dealing damage to the minions in their hand, meaning you can now play 0 health minions, technically speaking. I wonder if they die immediately or if you have to play them. Anyway, I think this is actually pretty decent. Because, I mean, we've already talked about the no duplicates problem in Arena, but at least this, like, reward is pretty good. I think I'll give this one 3 stars, because while it is hard to draft no duplicates, this reward is pretty decent. The only issue with these is that they're legendaries, and you're not going to see them very often. So don't, like, actively draft no duplicates to find these if you want to try hard in Arena. If you want to play for fun, then obviously, you know, you can do that, but yeah. Snake Eyes. 3 mana, 2/3 Naga. Battle cry. Roll 2 dice and discover 2 cards of those costs. Doubles get an extra discover. Oh, interesting. Roll 2 dice and discover 2 cards of those costs. Doubles get an extra discover. Oh, so basically, that's interesting. So essentially, you discover 2 cards every time of the costs that you rolled. But if you get 2 of the same dice, or like if you roll 2 of the same numbers, you discover 3 cards of that cost. Okay. That's pretty cool. And then what do these look like? Oh, haha. That's so fun to look at. Look at these. That's amazing artwork. I love the die. They look so cool. Are they like, oh my god, look at this, look at this. Okay. This is actually, like, I'm gonna nerd out for a little bit. The one shows the 2 and the 4 on the sides, right? And the 6 does show the 3 and the 5, just like it should. Wait, no, hold on, what? The 3 and the 5? Oh, they messed it up, no! Roll the 1 shows 4 and 2 on the sides, and then this doesn't. Aww. This doesn't match. Dang it, I thought for a second they had matched them up correctly, and I was so hyped for a moment there. Wait, no, it's 1 and 5 that has to match. Oh, wait, I saw it wrong. Hold on. 4 matches with 2. 4 with 1. Aw, they still didn't match it up correctly. Aw, man. Aw, I was hoping, because 1 is supposed to be on the opposite side of 5, right? Oh man, that's sad. Or is 1 supposed to be opposite of 6? It might be that, actually. Wait. I'm looking way too much into this, but I'm just like... I was so excited to see if they had done it correctly. It seems like they haven't, but it's okay. It's okay, Blizzard, I get it. You're not gonna waste your time, like, actually drawing the right dice or whatever. Like, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, either way. Yeah, because roll the 4 shows the 2. I guess it could show the 2 and the 6, because 2 is also there, so 6 would just be on the other side. Maybe they are correct. Maybe it's just me being weird. Maybe I'm just, like, not seeing it. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter at all. I just thought that was fun to look at. Let's move on. Okay, so I think this is actually a good card. You always get 2 discovers. Like, this is just good. I'll give this 5 stars. I think you can draft it in any Demon Hunter deck, really. Like, I don't see a downside to this at all, so 5 stars. Midnight Wolf, 6 mana, 6/6 with Rush. Outcast, summon a copy of this. Oh, that's amazing. Honestly, Let me think for a moment. Because I'm thinking to myself, Outcast is not that hard to get. Like, it's not that difficult to get Outcast bonuses, right? Like, we've seen it in the past, it's not that tough. So I think this is actually really good. I'm giving this a 5 star. I think this is actually insanely strong. Then we have Bartender Bot. Oh my god. This was a Battleground skin, I'm pretty sure, for Bartender Bob. That's amazing. 2 mana, 3/1 mech. Battlecry, draw an Outcast card and slide it to the left side of your hand. I love this design. Amazing. I'm giving this a 5 star, even though it draws specifically Outcast cards. I think you could draft enough of those that this is fine. Love this. This is great also. Mwah. Chef's kiss on the artwork. Next up. Parch Desperado. Okay, why is he drinking from what looks like a poisonous river? Okay. 2 mana, 3/2 Naga, Battlecry. If you've cast a spell while holding this, give your hero +3 attack this turn. I think it's pretty easy to cast a spell in Demon Hunter. Like, there's a lot of spells. But then again, what are the odds of casting a spell turn 1 and actually getting this turn 2? Because if you get this Battlecry on turn 2, you're in a really good position because you can kill their 2-drop basically all the time. I don't know. I think I'm giving this 4 stars because I think generally speaking, it's pretty easy to cast a spell while holding this. And it's only 2 mana, so even if you cast a spell and then play this, you can probably get this going pretty easily, even in the early game. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really fall off either. It's fine later too. You're gonna probably take more damage from whatever you're killing, but at the end of the day, like, you still gain the 3 attacks, so I think it's pretty good. Oasis Outlaws. 1 mana spell. Discover a Naga. If you've played a Naga while holding this, reduce its cost by 1. Interesting. I mean, deck dependent, but it's fine, I guess. Like, basically, if you have played a Naga, you're paying 0 for this spell, because you're discovering a Naga and then you're reducing its cost by 1, so you're, like, saving the 1 mana from this. I don't know, I'll give this, like, 2 stars. Deck dependent, but, like, fine, you can play it, I guess. Load the Chamber. 3 mana Fell Spell, deal 2 damage. Your next Naga, Fell Spell, and weapon cost 1 less. Oh, that's interesting. And it's not this turn, it's just... This is just an aura that you have that you can use. Okay, so... Or not an aura, I should say, but a lingering effect that you can use later. I think this is fine. I mean, obviously, it's kind of deck dependent, but I think odds are you can draft a Naga, Fell Spell, and a weapon and use this at some point. However, it is pretty slow, so I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Because 3 mana deal 2 is not great, and if you can't utilize the discounts, you might not always have a weapon. So, yeah, I think it's an iffy card, but I think it's okay. Right, Blind Eye Sharpshooter, 3 mana, 1/5 Naga. After you play a Naga, deal 2 damage to a random enemy and draw a spell, then switch. So I assume the switch is that you then, after you cast a spell, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Yeah, so draw a Naga. Yeah, so basically, play Naga, get a spell, deal 2, and then do it again, but with a spell and draw a Naga, and blah blah blah. Okay. I think this is fine because of the stat line. It's obviously pretty deck dependent, but I'll give it 3 stars because I feel like this is a pretty good upside for the deck it's in, so yeah. We've already been through the mage cards, so let's move on to druid. How many classes do we have left? Oh my god, there's so many cards. God. Druid cards. Raystrasa? Okay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but fair enough. 8 mana, 8/8 dragon. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates. Summon the Purified Dragon Nest. And that is, at the start of your turn, discover a dragon, it costs 4 less. Oh, interesting. I mean, this is not that bad, I don't think. Again, we've talked about the no duplicate stuff. I think discovering dragons in the late game is actually pretty good. I'll give this 3 stars because, I mean, we already talked about the duplicate stuff, but this is a fine reward for no duplicates, I think. So, yeah, let's go with a 4-star rating for that. Desert Nest Matron. 4 mana, 3/5 dragon. Taunt battle cry if you're holding a dragon, refresh 4 mana crystals. Whoa. Wait, this is insanely strong. What the hell? So Dragon Druid is obviously going to be a thing. There's only dragon minions here, I can tell. Okay, so this is actually insane. This is just like a free test dingo. That's insane. I'm giving this 5 stars. It is deck dependent, but my god, is that an upside. Also, if you get this off Raystraza, you basically gain 4 mana. That is insanely strong. What the hell? 5 stars for this, and probably deserves to be nerfed. Alright, Rehydrate. 2 mana nature spell, restore 7 health, quick draw, refresh 2 mana. So basically, if you quick draw it, you get free 7 health. To anything. To not only to a hero, but to anything. I mean, I think this is a fine card. It's not great, but like, I mean, the quick draw effect is good. I think I'm giving this 2 stars, just because restoring health is not typically the most, like, it's not the most powerful mechanic, but like, I mean, if you can get it for free, right? Alright, Dragon Tails. 2 mana, choose 1, get 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less, or get 2 that cost more than 5. I like that, honestly. This is good. Yeah. Love that. I think this is a 5-star card just because it's card generation and it's not really conditional, and it's pretty good. Like, dragons are generally speaking pretty strong, and I mean, especially with this 4-mana dragon over here, it's pretty freaking good. Take to the skies. Draw 2 dragons, give them +1/+1. Deck dependent. Like, fine. It's Arcane Intellect with a slight upside, except it's specifically drawing dragons. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Again, Arcane Intellect is probably 2.5 stars-ish in this day and age. I talked about that earlier. This is specific to dragons. You can tutor things with this. You can draw your legendary dragons with this, which is also pretty freaking good. The +1/+1 doesn't really mean a whole lot, but, you know, I like it. Related cards, Happy Whelp? I'm confused. Why is that a related card? It's not a collectible card, it's a token. What the heck? Why is that related? That's weird. Okay. Cactus Construct. Discover a 2-cost minion, summon a 1/2 copy of it. That's actually really good because it's a 1-cost card. If you get this turn 1, you're really happy. I'm giving this 5 stars because I feel like if you get this turn 1, you also have a 2-mana card in your hand. It gives you a turn 2 play on turn 1, which is great. Splish Splash Whelp. Lovely artwork. 2 mana, 2/1. Battlecry if you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. Whoa. Whoa. There used to be a 2 mana spell that was basically old wild growth, but with this condition. I think it was that if you were holding a dragon, you gained an empty mana crystal and drew a card or something. This is basically that, but now you also get a minion. I mean, you obviously don't draw a card, but you get a 2/1. This is insanely strong. I think Druid, honestly, Dragon Druid might be super strong in Arena too. Because a lot of these cards aren't like let's look at the rarities real quick. Rare, common. These are both really good. Common for this one, for the draw. Rare for the Cactus Construct, which is like not dragon related, but it's pretty good. Dragon Tales is an epic, you're probably not gonna get that one. But like, okay, that's pretty darn strong so far with just rares and whatever. And then if you get like one of the epics, that's pretty good too, right? God damn, alright. Snipe Tail Drake. Well, speaking of dragon synergy, if you're holding a dragon, deal 5 damage to an enemy minion. This is insane. I think this is 5 stars also. I think Dragon Druid is gonna be the thing in Arena. I think honestly Druid's gonna be so strong in Arena now. Dragon Golem, 7 mana, 3/4 dragon. Taunt, Battlecry, summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand. Not as great, just because you have to actually draw the dragons, and you can't really guarantee that. But then again, if you summon a copy of this and you drew it with the draw 2 dragons, you also get it'll become a 4/5, which is slightly better, but still. This is a bit slower, so I'm only gonna give it 4 stars. I'm giving it 4 stars, however, because I think Dragon Druid's gonna be really strong. And we have Fae the Setting Sun. That's a lovely dragon art. 9 mana, 4/12, Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt. Cost 1 less for each dragon you've summoned this game. Well, giving that 5 stars as well. I think you can summon enough dragons to where this is like at least 6 or like 5 mana. This is insanely strong. Then we go to the next class. Waste Remover. 4 mana, 7/7, Demon. At the end of your turn, destroy the bottom 3 cards of your deck. So, I hate cards like this. But at least it's only 3 cards a turn, so it's not Banshee levels of bad. But however, it is consistently 3 no matter how many cards you play. I hate cards like this. I don't like them personally, but I know they're strong, so I'm gonna give this like a 3 star. Because I think it just works. I just hate it. So yeah, 3 stars. Disposal Assistant. 2 mana, 3/2, Battlecry, Death Rattle. Put a barrel of sludge on the bottom of your deck. When this is played, discarded or destroyed, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. Okay, so basically you put it in the bottom and then the Waste Remover like takes it away. Okay, so I see what they're doing. Okay, then maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking, but I mean, This is pretty good though. I don't mind this at all. This is just like a good card. I think I'll give this 4 stars. I mean, 2 mana, 3/2 with upside. That's fine. Sludge on Wheels. Oh my god, what the heck is this artwork? 3 mana, 1/5 Rush. Whenever this takes damage, get a barrel of sludge and add 1 to the bottom of your deck. Okay, so again, these are the barrels. Okay. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. I think this is slightly worse just because, like, it's a 1/5. I mean, yeah, it has Rush, but I don't know. It's not the greatest stat line for a card like this. But I guess I'll give it, like, 2 stars, maybe 2.5. I'll be generous and give it 2.5 because of the Rush keyword is, like, makes it slightly better, I guess. Furnace Fuel. Let's see. Fire Spell for 4 mana. Whenever this is played, discarded, or destroyed, draw 2 cards. So again, it's all about the whole Waste Remover thing, like remove cards from the bottom of your deck or whatever. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I mean, the fact that it works when discarded is great. But then again, I don't know. I mean, it's not the greatest in Arena, I don't think. Just because playing it is, like, not worth it, right? So you have to either discard or destroy it, meaning you need the synergy. Now, granted, it seems like the synergy exists, so let's just give it 3 stars, because the synergy is actually there, but normally a 4 mana draw 2 is not great. It's only because it says discard or destroyed, and there's a lot of discard stuff already. So, sure, let's go with a 3 star on this. Popgar the Putrid. Okay. This looks a lot like Acidic Swamp Ooze, but like a legendary ooze. Okay. 4 mana, 2/6. Your fell spells cost 1 less and have Lifesteal, Battlecry, get 2 barrels of sludge, and those are fell spells. Okay. That's pretty cool, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give this like I'll give this 4 stars, because you already get, like, from this card alone, for 6 mana, you get 2 barrels of sludge that deals 3 with Lifesteal. Plus, they have extra synergy. Not only can you could discard them, destroy them, all that, and they still do their thing, and you still get the lifesteal. But you also get the discount on other fell spells that you might have, so yeah, I think this is just fine. I'll give it, like, 3.5 stars, probably, yeah? Okay, fracking. I don't know what that means. Okay. 1 mana, look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck, draw 1 and destroy the others. I mean, that's pretty decent with all the synergy, right? Because the fact that you get to draw one of them and then you can choose which one you get. Yeah. I think I'll give this... I don't know, I'll give this 3 stars, I think. Just because you're not really drawing cards with this, you're just replacing this card with something else. So yeah, let's go with that. Moag Drill Fist. Okay. 4 mana, 4/5, make Demon Taunt. Death Rattle, excavate a treasure. We haven't seen any excavate stuff really for Warlock. And let me look and see if there's any more, like if there's a reward thing for them, because it depends. Okay, so there is. Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, I think I'll give this 3.5 stars, probably. I mean, it's fine, right? Because it's already just like an okay stated taunt, and then you have like the extra death rattle to like help it out. That's fine. Also, Mech Demon is interesting. Smokestack. 1 mana spell, deal 1 damage to a minion. If it dies, excavate a treasure. This is like fine, right? Yeah, this is a fine card. It's nothing super special, but it's okay. And like, if it kills a minion, you excavate this. Yeah, sure. You do want the excavation on this, though. Like, you don't want to just deal 1 damage to a minion and not kill it. But I don't know, like, Warlock has lots of damage stuff, so I'm gonna go with this is fine and give it 2 stars. It's probably not the best, but you probably need it to excavate from. Tram Conductor Gary? Interesting. 7 mana 4/4. If you excavate it twice, summon 6 3/3 tram cars with Rush. Alright, that's pretty cool. Okay, I do like this reward a lot. I'm giving this 4 stars. Obviously deck dependent, but a really good reward again. And then it's bugged again. Great. Trolley Problem. Okay, interesting. 3 mana. Discard your lowest cost spell. Summon 2 3/3 tram cars with Rush. Quick draw, don't discard. Okay. So here the quick draw could actually be a downside, because if you have the whatever kegs we looked at before, the barrel of sludge, right? Then the don't discard becomes worse, because you want to discard those spells. But then you just wait a turn and you're fine, right? Yeah. I think this is a good card. I mean, 3 mana, get 2 3/3s with Rush is pretty good. Even if you don't discard, like, depending on if you want to discard or not, the quick draw is a downside, but I don't really care. I'll just give this 4 stars and move on because of the amount of stats you can get for 3 mana. God damn it. Moving on to Shaman. Giant Tumbleweed! That's a hilarious name. Love the artwork too. 7 mana nature spell, deal 6 damage to all minions, summon a 6/6 Tumbleweed. That is insane. This is a 5-star card because you AoE the board and then you summon a dude. This is just awesome. This is just a great card. I'd draft as many of these as possible, honestly. Amphibious Elixir. 2 mana, nature spell, restore 5 health, discover a spell. Okay, this is pretty good because, I mean, yeah, restoring health is not the best, but discovering is really good. So, and spells are generally good. So, I'm giving this, I think, 3 stars. Yeah, I mean, Discover can be slightly inconsistent, but Discover is good, so yeah. Trusty Companion. Oh, that's cute. That's a cute artwork. 2 mana spell, give a minion +2/+3. If it has a minion type, draw one of that type. Interesting. I think I'll give that a 3 star because it's a buff that also draws a card. So it's just, on the baseline, it's just 2 mana, give a minion the stats of a 2 mana minion, right? But then if you also like draw, then then it's better, right? So yeah, it's 3 stars. It's good. Cactus Cutter. 2 mana 2/2. Murloc. Battlecry, draw a spell. If you cast it this turn, gain +1/+2 and taunt. Oh, that's pretty good. I like this especially later in the game. I don't think you want to have this in your opening hand. I think you'll want to play this later down the line, but it's really good though. I'm giving this a 5-star rating. I think it's actually insanely strong. Then we have Dr. Holiday. That's a funny name. 5 mana for 5. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, equips Staff of the Nine Frogs. Staff of the Nine Frogs. 5 mana, 2/9. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 frog with taunt. Each frog is bigger than the last. So I see. So it's a 1/1, a 2/2, and a 3/3, etc. It's Jades but with frogs, and it's also this artwork is awesome as well. The weapon artwork is good. So this is a fine reward. You equip it immediately, which is nice. Again, we talked about no duplicate stuff. I think this is one of the... This is really slow, right? I mean, you have to attack with it. You only get 1 each time. So I think while it is technically a lot of stats, it's really, really slow. So I'm giving this 3 stars. I don't think this is worth drafting for. Like, I think this is one of those where I would wait, in the sense that, let's say I have 1 duplicate in the deck, I could still choose this card, but I wouldn't draft around getting no duplicates afterwards. Then we have Walking Mountain, Rush, Lifesteal, Mega Wind Fury, Overload 2. Mega Wind Fury has returned. Okay. Love that. Yeah, okay, so this card is interesting. It's obviously meant as like a board wipe-esque effect with lifesteal, but also Mega Wind Fury is strong. So if you just drop this and buff it like with 1 thing, your opponent's probably dead. I could see some very interesting combos with this card for sure. Like, you know, swap its attack and health, and then your opponent's just dead. Not on the turn you play it, but the next turn. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. But that's probably more of a constructed deck than anything else. It's something I want to play around with for sure. For arena purposes, I'll give this 4 stars just because you gain a lot of health back. And you have Rush. Like, this is actually really strong just to clear out 4 minions. Like, 4 decently sized minions, right? Yeah, I like this card. Then we have Minecart Cruiser, amazing artwork. 3 mana for 5 elemental. Rush, Overload 2. Battlecry, if you played an elemental last turn, don't overload. Oh, that's insane. Shaman has a lot of elemental stuff, right? And you're getting even more elemental support with this package here. So I'm gonna say this is actually really strong, give it 4 stars. I think even if you overload, this is fine. It's a good card, like, it's insane. Scar the Catastrophe. 7 mana, 7/7 elemental. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. Improved by each turn in a row you've played an elemental. Okay, so it's Arcane Explosion plus a damage to face. If you've only played, if you haven't played any elementals prior. If you've played 1, you deal 2 to all enemies, etc. Okay. But it's every turn you have to play an elemental. So odds are you're probably not going to play that many. You can probably realistically get 2 or 3 damage from this, which is still really good, right? I'll give this like a 4 star. I think it's fine. I don't think you can like draft enough elementals to have like a giant catastrophe go off, right? Like you can't suddenly deal 14 damage or something. But I think you can you can realistically probably get 3 or 4 damage here, no problem. Which is still really good, right? Or at least 2 or 3. So yeah, it's good. I swear website. Living Prairie. 5 mana, 5/4 elemental. Battle Cry, if you played an elemental last turn, summon 2 3/3 cows with Rush. Oh my god, they look like they're flying. Flying cows. Okay. And they're just beasts. 3/3 cows. Okay. I think this is fine. I mean, like I said, there's like decent elementals in Shaman. There's kind of a lot of them too. I think I'll give this 3 stars. I mean, it's deck dependent, but it's, you know, it's a good payoff. So yeah, 3 stars. Damn it. Dehydrate. 3 mana. Lifesteal. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Quick draw. This costs 1. So this is the opposite of the Hydrate card we saw earlier. Yeah, I mean, this is fine, right? I mean, it's basically the outcast card for Demon Hunter. That also, I believe it deals 3, and then it costs 1 if it's outcasted. But I mean, yeah, this is like fine. I'll give it like what? I don't know, like 3 stars. Like, it's just a fine card. Draft it, why not? Then we have Death Knight. Pile of Bones, 2 mana, and it is 1 Frost Rune, 1 Unholy Rune. It's a 2/1 undead. Death Rattle. The next time you excavate, resummon this. Okay, I mean, that's like fine, right? It's obviously deck dependent, but I guess you can resummon it whenever. I'll give it like 3 stars just because technically it's infinite value, but you need a deck for it, and the payoff is like fine. And we have Skeleton Crew. 4 mana, 1 Frost Rune, 3/3 undead. Battlecry. Excavate a treasure, it costs 0. Ooh. Now we're talking. I mean, that is this like the final treasure that was shown down here? It must be. Well, if you excavate basically anything that costs 0, it's pretty good. If you get to the legendary or whatever it is, and you actually like and you get that for 0, it's really good, right? So I would give this probably a 4-star because I think it's fine as it is. Crop Rotation. 3 mana with 1 Unholy Rune. Summon 4 1/1 undeads with Rush that die at the end of turn. I see, so you're basically so you're essentially like what's it called? You're using the dead bodies as your yeah. Gnome on the range. This is a play on the home on the range, probably. 1 mana, 1/1 rush at the end of the turn. Okay, I mean, this is fine, but I don't like it that much. It's basically bees for druid, but worse. I guess you get corpses from it, so yeah, I don't know. I'll give it like 3 stars. It's fine, but not great. Reska, the pit boss. She looks awesome. What? Or he, I don't know. I think it's a she, but that looks awesome. 20 mana. 1 Frost and 1 Unholy with Rush, and it is a 6/3 undead. Cost 1 less for each minion that died this game. Death Rattle take control of an enemy minion. Oh! Okay, so I think it's pretty safe to say that minions die during your games, right? Especially as Death Knight. I mean, you're all about corpses and stuff. This is gonna cost a reasonable amount of mana. You can probably play this for 6 or 7 most of the time, if not less, right? So I think this is... So you are gonna have the effect go. So you get a rush, you rush into one thing, you take control of another thing. Yeah, honestly, I think you could draft this in pretty much any Death Knight. I'll give it 4 stars. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty good, and I think you can use it in basically any Death Knight deck. Then we have Fistful of Corpses. 1 mana, 1 Blood Rune, 1 Unholy Rune. Deal damage to a minion equal to your corpses. Oh, I like that card. I'm giving that 5 stars. I think this is easily gonna deal like 5 or 6 damage. That's great, and you don't even spend your corpses doing it. Corpse Farm. 3 mana spell. 1 Unholy. Spend up to 8 corpses to summon a random minion of that cost. Oh, that's insanely strong. That is insane. This is a 5-star card, I think. It's super versatile. It's really versatile, right? Because you can spend up to 8 corpses. And you can get up to an 8-cost minion for 3 mana. That's insane. 5 stars. Farmhand. Whoa, what the heck is that artwork? Alright. 3 mana, 4/3 undead, it's double unholy. Battlecry, discover an undead, quick draw, it costs 2 less. Okay. That's fine, I guess. I mean, I think it works in pretty much any Death Knight deck. I mean, obviously you lock yourself into double unholy, but this is like a good card. I think I'd give it like 4 stars. And we have Maw and Paw. It is a 4 mana, 1/8 undead, 1 Blood Rune, 1 Unholy Rune. At the end of your turn, gain 5 corpses. At the start of your turn, spend 5 corpses and give your hero +5 health. Whoa. That honestly is pretty decent. Like, I like the +5 health. And also, if you just gain the corpses, I think you're pretty happy because you have corpse stuff, right? You have corpse synergy because you're Death Knight. Or you might have some at least. But the problem is the stat line of this card is not great. It's really slow. You're probably not going to get the health pretty much ever. I'm gonna give this... I'm giving it 3 stars because corpse synergy is a thing, but I don't think it works in every deck, and I don't think you're gonna get the health. Not the card we were looking for. Reap what you sow. 3 mana, 1 Frost Rune. Deal 3 damage, excavate a treasure. That's fine, right? I mean, not the best card, but it's fine. I'll give it like 2.5 stars. Pretty average, I think. Damn it. The website is annoying me today. Alright, next up we have a 7-mana, 7/7, 1 Frost Rune. Harrowing Ox. Taunt. Battlecry, if you've excavated twice, your next card this turn costs 7 less. Okay. So it's a free 7/7 taunt, right? Yeah, it's probably a 4-star card. I mean, that's a pretty decent upside. You just have to play the other card this turn, but that's pretty good. Alright. Then we have Priest. This is the last class, and then we have the neutrals. This is going to be a long video, I apologize, but it always is. 6 mana, 4/6 taunt, Thirsty Drifter. Taunt costs 1 less for each 1-cost card you've played this game. I assume there's going to be a 1-cost card theme around here in the Priest class. I don't know, I mean, if you just reduce it with 2, I think it's fine, which you can do in pretty much any deck. So, I'm gonna give this 3 stars and say it's fine. Alright. Pip the Potent. 4 mana, 3/5, Battlecry. Copy each 1-cost card in your hand. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine, right? 3 stars, just some card generation. It's weird that it's specifically 1-cost cards. Is there something that I'm not seeing yet that is like... save any excess in a 1-cost bottle. Okay, so these are probably the ones that we're looking for. Is there anything else? 1-cost bottle, 1-cost bottle. Okay, so it's all about these bottles. Got it. Okay, then this is probably fine because, I mean, you've got different access to this bottle stuff. Okay, yeah, so generally these are gonna be good. Okay. Holy Spring Water. Restore 8 health to a damaged character. Save any excess in a 1-cost bottle. So this can heal up to 7, basically. So it's basically a health potion. Okay. That's decent, right? Because, again, you have the synergy with the 1-cost spells. Or 1-cost cards, I should say. Healing isn't the best, but the fact that you can heal 2 different targets to different amounts is pretty good as long as they're damaged. At least this one has to be damaged. The other one doesn't. So that means if you're only healing one with this one would heal 7 at max, right? That's pretty good. I'll give it like a 3-star rating. I think this is fine. Just because you're restoring 8 health to 2 different things. The only caveat being that you have to restore 1 health to the first one at the very least. And we have Invasive Shade Leaf. 4 mana, Shadow Spell. Deal 8 damage to an enemy minion. Save any excess in a 1-cost bottle. Okay, so, again, same thing. 4 mana for 8 damage is pretty good. It's like Fire Lance, essentially, except you're doing it to 2 minions. You have Fire Lance on 1 minion, and then any excess damage you have for later in a bottle, right? Which is great, because then you can, like, you have the synergy with it. I like this card, actually. I think it's great. I'll give it 4 stars. It's pretty good. Then we have Swarm of Lightbugs. Let's see. 5 mana. Summon 10 1/1 Lightbugs with lifesteal. Save any excess in a 1-cost bottle. So you're always gonna have 3 in the bottle. Because you can only summon 7. Right? which means this is 5 mana, summon 7 1/1s with lifesteal, and then you get a bottle that has another 3 of them, at the very least. Or you could summon even less here, but get more of them later. Also, bottled light bugs, what an amazing art. Look at that. That is so cool. Okay. I think this is probably more close to a 3-star card, just because 1/1s with lifesteal don't do a whole lot. But I guess with the bottled ones, you could have up to technically 7 bottled ones, right? And just have a full board of them later for 1 mana. Which is pretty good, but then you're like sacrificing your tempo with a card like this when you're probably already winning because you had 6 minions in play, or you had 7 minions in play, whatever, right? Then we have Injured Hauler, 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, deal 4 damage to this minion. Overheal, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So this is one of the synergies with the first spell we looked at, the healing spell. Overheal is pretty good. This is a good overheal effect. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I'll give it like a 3-star. I mean, it is obviously kind of deck dependent, but the payoff is good, and overheal is something you can use technically in any deck, right? Pose Possession. Summon a 4/4 copy of a random minion in your opponent's hand. Interesting. This is the kind of card I like, but this is the problem with it. This card might be worse than... What was the name of the card? Oh, what was that name? There's a 4-mana card that summons a copy of a minion from your opponent's deck, and I think that one's better than this. Because if you think about it, if the opponent mulligans, right, they're gonna have their low-cost minions in their hand. Meaning you're gonna get a pretty low-cost minion. Now, you're gonna get a 4/4 copy, so it's slightly better than if it's just a 1-cost minion and you get it from their deck with the mind, whatever that card is called. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is great. I think this is probably a 2-mana card just because it's not, like, it's inconsistent. It's probably kind of a fun card, you know? Then we have Benevolent Banker. 3 mana, 2/4. Battlecry, discover a spell from your deck. Quick draw enemy deck instead. That's interesting. So it's kind of a... It's a Steel Priest card that also works outside of Steel Priest because you can just, like, have it. Like, it doesn't matter if you get it from the enemy or your own deck. If you have good spells, you want it from your own deck, which then quick draw's the downside, but either way, I think I'll give it 3 stars just because I feel like the quick draw on this one can get a bit awkward, because sometimes you want a spell from your deck, sometimes you don't. So this one is just kind of awkward with the quick draw effect, right? Then we have Tram Heist. 4 mana. Get a copy of each card your opponent played last turn. Interesting card. Very slow, though. I don't know. I think I'll give this like a 2-star rating just because it's so slow. Like, it's not amazing because how many cards are you realistically gonna get? 2, maybe 3? And then you also need to play them, and that's the whole thing. Like, you're just stealing them. You know, you're getting copies of them, you're not playing them. So, yeah, I don't really like this card. We have one more priest card down here. Elise, Badlands, Savior, 8 mana, 5/5. If your deck has no duplicates, summon 4/4 copies of 4 random minions in your deck. I don't think this is worth drafting no duplicates for, just because odds are your effects on your minions are not good enough for this. Like, they could be. I mean, I guess Overheal is a decent one for it, but, like, generally speaking, I don't think this is very worth it. It is a lot of stats for 8 mana, I will give you that. But I'm just gonna give it 3 stars because I don't think the effect is all that powerful. 1 board clear and it's all gone anyway. Now it's time for the neutral cards, so let's scroll up. Here are the neutrals. Alright, so first we have Reno Lone Ranger. This is interesting. A neutral hero card. I think this is the first time we see that. 8 mana, 5 armor. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, empty the enemy board and limit it to 1 minion for a turn. So that means that you clear their board, next turn they can only play a single minion. And then it says it's high noon. Alright. And then hero powers, we have Reno's Head Cannon. Shoot this turn's Magic Bullet. Arcane Bullet, deal 2 damage, refresh 2 mana crystal, swaps each turn. Deal 2 damage, gain 4 armor. Deal 2 damage and deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Deal 2 damage, give a random friendly minion +2/+2. Deal 2 damage, discover a spell, that's good. Deal 2 damage, summon a random 3-cost minions. Deal 2 damage, draw a card. These are all pretty good, so... yeah, so these are all good hero powers, I think. Yeah. Also, it says hand cannon. I thought it was head cannon at first. No, it's just a hand cannon. Alright. Cool. I like this. I think this is just a good card. I mean, empty the enemy's board means that you're probably removing all the minions. You're not triggering death rattles, etc. You limit the amount of minions they can play for a turn. Yeah, this is just a good card. I mean, what do we expect? It's Reno, it's a hero card, it's neutral, first neutral hero cards. I mean, come on. This is the payoff for no duplicates, but again, we talked about no duplicates. This one is probably a 5-star realistically just because of how good the card is. And you want to draft no duplicates if you have this card as the payoff. Alright. Next up we have Dryscale Deputy. 2 mana 2/2 Battle Naga. Battlecry. The next time you draw a spell, get a copy of it. I mean, it's fine. It's very slow though, so I'll give it like 2.5 stars. It's alright, but not great. Whelp Wrangler. 2 mana 2/3. At the end of your turn, get a 1/2 whelp with taunt. And it's these whelps, and I'm assuming they go in your hand because it doesn't say summon. I'm giving this a 3-star. I think it's a fine 2-drop. Also, extra points for the artwork. Looks amazing. I love the baby dragons. Look really cute. And then we have Tram Mechanic. Death Rattle, get a barrel of sludge. Toxic waste, handle with care. Yeah, so it's just these barrels here. Yeah, this one is fine. I mean, somewhat deck dependent, but I mean, even if you don't, you can just play these barrels of sludge, so it's fine. Probably just a 3-star card for this. It's a 1-drop that gives you a turn 2 play, which I always like, so yeah, why not? Greedy Partner. 2 mana 2/3. If you're holding another 2-cost card, get a coin. That's actually pretty good. I don't think you're gonna get the synergy all that often, but even then it's just a 2-drop with an upside. 3 stars for that. Rowdy Partner. 4 mana 4/3. Battlecry, if you're holding another 4-cost card, deal 4 damage. That's a great payoff. Also, holding 2 4-cost cards are probably higher than 2 2-cost cards on turn 2. I think having 2 4-cost cards on turn 4 is more likely. I'm giving this a 3.5 star. Yeah, 3.5 stars for this. Gaslit Gatekeeper. Or Gaslight Gatekeeper, whatever. 3 mana 3/4 undead. Battlecry. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw that many cards. So it's Sir Finley, but it's not from the bottom of your deck. It's just draw cards from the top of your deck. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I don't think this is an upside or a downside. I think it's just whatever. So 2.5 stars for this. 3 mana 4/3 Elemental. Eroded Sediment. Battlecry, if you played an elemental last turn, discover an elemental from the past. So discover a wild elemental. That's pretty good. I'm giving this 3-star. It's deck dependent, but I like the discover part of this. Elemental from the past can be okay. It's not amazing, but 3 stars seems fair. Line Dance Partner. 3 mana 3/2. Battlecry, if you're holding another 3-cost card, summon a random 3-cost minion. Yeah, I don't know. Do I just give it 3 stars? I gave the 2-cost card also 3 stars because I think the payoff is pretty good. But this one's stats are way lower, so... yeah, I don't know. I give this 2.5 stars, I think. Just because it's not great. Like, the stats are not great, the effect is fine, but what are the odds of getting it on turn 3? If you get it later, is it worth as much? No, because later in the game, people can deal with more minions. So, yeah, you want these early. They're definitely high roll cards, but they can work. Then we have Dang Blasted Elemental. That's a really funny name. 4 mana 3/3 elemental taunt. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to all minions except friendly elementals. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the fact that it's a taunt with AoE damage at the end. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars, and then it's just an upside if you have multiple elementals in play. Then we have Cactus Ranger. Oh my god. 2 mana 5/1 poisonous. I mean, this is a meme card, 1 star. I don't think it needs to be drafted at all, ever, because why do you like poisonous? It's got 5 attack already. It kills anything anyway. And if you've reached a point in the game where it doesn't, then they can very easily deal 1 damage. So yeah, no. Horseshoe Slinger, 3 mana 2/2 mech. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to random enemy minion, quick draw, and one of its neighbors. Because it's random, I can't really give it more than like 2 stars. The stats are pretty low. The quick draw doesn't really make it much better. Yeah, I don't know. Not great. Cold Panner. 2 mana 1/2. At the end of your turn, draw a card. I'll give it like 2 stars. If you need card draw, this is probably a decent option, but I don't think it's great just because you have to protect it, and I mean, it's pretty easily killed, so yeah. Miracle Salesman. 1 mana 2/2 Death Rattle, get a tradable Snake Oil. Tradable, deals 0 damage. This seems useless. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, I think this is a card that has its merit. It's not amazing. It works with spell damage, it works with combo, it works with stuff like that. It's a 1 mana 2/2 as well. Like, you might get a somewhat useless card, but you can trade it in a pinch as well. Even if you're then gonna top deck it later, you can still trade it. Like, yeah, I think this is fine. A tradable 0 mana card is always gonna be fine, in my opinion. And, I mean, playing it, there's definitely benefits in at least Rogue, is what I can think of. I don't know if there's any other classes that really depend on, like, comboing stuff, but yeah. I mean, if you have anything that depends on how many cards you've played, it works with Gadgets and Auctioneer. It's got its merits, and a 1 mana 2/2 is fine as well. I think this is actually pretty good. I'll give it, like, 4 stars. I think most decks can play this. Then we have Trapdoor Spider. 2 mana 1/2 beast. Stealth, poisonous. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. This can be pretty annoying in the later game, but at the same time, you kind of need to buff it for it to really matter. Because they could just play like a small minion and then you trade into it. If you play it on turn 2, you're probably gonna kill their 2-drop, which is like okay, but not amazing. I'll give it like a 3 star. It's got its place, and it's not horrible, but I think it's really easily played around in the late game. Then we have Sunspot Dragon. 6 mana 6/6 dragon, tradable, lifesteal, quick draw, deal 6 damage. I like this because it's basically the 8 mana dragon with tradable that can kill something if you have exact mana for it, whereas this is like a quick draw effect, which I think is better. I'm giving this 5 stars. I think this is generally just good. And you also get the lifesteal on the 6 damage, so this is good. And we have Saloon Brewmaster. 2 mana 2/2 Battlecry, return a friendly minion to your hand and give it +2/+2. So it's another one of those brew cards where you can like brew back a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm generally okay with these effects, but then again, the other brewmasters are like statted fine, and the reason to return them is typically based on a battle cry. So the extra stats don't really do a whole lot, especially because this is pretty slow. I'm gonna give it 3 stars because it probably has some use cases, but I would be wary of drafting this. It's a very bad statted 2-drop. Then we have High Noon Duelist. 3 mana 4/3. Both players draw. Destroy the card that costs less. Oh, draw as in draw a card. Ha, that's a funny play on words. Okay, and it's a death rattle. Okay. I think this is like, it's like meh, I guess. Like, I don't really like it because you could risk drawing for your opponent only, right? You also could draw for yourself only, but very deck dependent, not my kind of thing. I would give it 2 stars. Kingpin Pud. 6 mana 6/7. I just realized we're going out of order in the neutrals. But, or are we? Wait, are we going out of order? Hold on. No, I guess it's just, like, not set up, like, with mana. Like, I guess it's not, what's it called? Usually they go from 1 to however much mana, but it doesn't do that here. Anyway. Battlecry, resurrect your Ogre Gang, give them Wind Fury. Ogre Gang Outlaw. 3 mana 4/4 rush, 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. Ogre Gang Rider, 4 mana 3/6 rush. 50% chance to give your hero +3 attack this turn instead of attacking. Oh my god. Ogre Gang Ace, 5 mana 5/4 rush. Whenever this attacks, gain Divine Shield, 50% chance to gain lifesteal instead. But then they get Wind Fury from the sky. That's pretty funny. I think this is more of a meme than anything. It is quite a lot of stats, but like, I don't know. It's Resurrect implies you have to have drafted them and played them. So, I don't know. The good, the bad, and the ugly stats for the cost. That's hilarious. Okay. I'm giving this card like 2 stars. It's probably a meme. You need to have drafted your Ogre Gang, which, I mean, I guess you could probably get some Outlaws and maybe 1 or 2 of the Riders as well, but the odds of getting the Ace is pretty low, right? I mean, draft-wise, and the Resurrect implies you have to play them first, so 2 stars on this guy. Deck-dependent, but I guess technically kind of cool. We've read this card already. I think this one's pretty bad, just because the getting lifesteal instead of Divine Shield really matters. Like, you want the Divine Shield really badly on this, so no. 100% chance to not play by the rules. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. 2 stars probably. This one doesn't know his right from his left. Okay. 50% chance to get your hero attack instead. That's fine, because you could still attack into the same things, so that's okay. Which I think you actually kind of want to use your hero's health instead of the minion, so yeah, that's pretty good. 3 mana 4/4 with rush, 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. This is pretty standard Ogre, right? I mean, I don't really like these, but at least it has rush, so 2 stars on that. I guess this is probably the best one, which I would give like 3, maybe 3.5 star, but even then, I don't think these Ogres are a whole lot of, like, I don't think you need to draft these at all. Then we have Gattlesnake, 3 mana 1/5 beast. At the end of your turn, load 2 bullets that deal 1 damage each. Death Rattle fire at random enemies. I see, so you basically, this is a 1/5 Death Rattle, deal 2 damage randomly split amongst all enemies, but over time you get more and more of these bullets. So you can probably get it twice if you're lucky. If not, you just deal 2. And your opponent kind of is slightly forced to respond. This is one of those cards with like pseudo taunt, so it's kind of better than the usual 1/5. But I just don't like 1/5s in stat line all that much. I'm gonna give this like 2 stars, I think. Actually, let's give it 2.5, because the bonus is like okay. Bunny Stomper, 2 mana 1/3 beast. Your beasts have rush. I think that's pretty good if you have beasts. Obviously, it's deck dependent, but this one also has rush. So, I don't know. I'll give it like 3 stars. I think that's fine. It's deck dependent, but it's a fine upside. Azurite Giant, 8 mana 8/8 elemental. Cost 1 less for each turn in a row you've played an elemental. Very deck dependent, but at least you have an 8 mana 8/8 that you can probably get down to 7 or 6. Again, we talked about this with the Shaman Catastrophe legendary, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'll give this like 3 stars. It's not the greatest payoff. Actually, 2.5. It's not a great payoff, but it's fine. But again, deck dependent. Snake Oil Seller, 4 mana, 4/5 Naga, tradable. Shuffle 2. No, not tradable. Death Rattles, shuffle 2 tradable Snake Oils into your opponent's deck. So now you're giving them to your opponent. Which, I mean, Again, your opponent can have the same value out of them that you have. I'm gonna give this card 2 stars. I don't think giving your opponents these is a good idea. You don't want your opponent to have tradable cards in their deck. Like, no. You can argue it's a dead draw, but it really isn't, because yeah, they have to spend 1 mana to get their actual draw, but it's not the end of the world to do that. Especially not later in the game, and you don't know if they're gonna draw these. This is just a fancy Yeti with what looks to be a somewhat upside, somewhat downside, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, 2 stars. Howdy Finn. That is a cute artwork. 2 mana, 2/3 Murloc. Whenever your hand has less than 3 cards in it, get a random Murloc. Okay, so it's not the best card in the early game, and it's not the best card in the late game either, because how often... Here's the thing, in the early game, how often are you going to have less than 3 cards in your hand? Not that often. In the late game, how much are you going to need a random Murloc? Not much either. So I'm going to give this, like, sadly a 2-star, because I don't think you're ever going to get this upside. So it's just a 2/3 Murloc at the end of the day. Castle Rustler, 5 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, drop beast, it costs 3 less. So it's basically a 2 mana 3/4. But you are paying 5 for it, and then you can get the beast, right? It requires you to have drafted some beasts. It requires them to cost 3, optimally speaking, because then you're getting the full value out of the discount. You can also have it be like a later game beast, but then you can't play it on the turn. You're losing a lot of tempo with a card like this. I think 2.5 stars is fair, because it's kind of deck dependent a little bit, but also, like, this is pretty slow, right? Then we have Burrow Buster, 5 mana, 6/4 mech, rush, battlecry, excavate a treasure. This is pretty decent. I mean, I think this is just a 3-star card. Rush is good with 6 attack, and excavate a treasure is also pretty good. So yeah, that's fine. Then we have Bounty Board, 3 mana, 0/5. I love the art on this too. This is amazing. Your excavate, quick draw, tradable, and legendary cards cost 1 less. Okay, interesting. Deck dependent, obviously, but I guess I'll give it, like... Can I give this 2 stars realistically? Because I think it's pretty useless. You have to have a very specific deck to make this work. And even then, it's a 0/5 for 3 mana. Is it really worth it? You need 3 mana worth of discounts for this to even be worth playing. Because you're basically playing a useless card, kind of. No, I'm gonna give this 1 star. I don't think I can realistically give this any more than 1 star, sadly. I like the card, though. What a cool looking card. Then we have Azerite Chain Gang. 4 mana, 2/3, taunt, battlecry, and quick draw. Summon a copy of this. Okay. Temple Rogue, I hear you calling. This reminds me, I mean, there was a Serenite Chain Gang, right, that just had battlecry, summon a copy of this, and there was this card, basically. Except it didn't have quick draw. Now it has quick draw as well. So, I mean, it's just a better version of that. I think this is fine, because even if you don't get the quick draw, you're still pretty happy with it. Like, I was happy with Serenite Chain Gang, I think. So, yeah, I'll give this like a 3-star. I think it's draftable in basically anything. Then we have Flint Firearm. 3 mana, 3/3, battlecry, get a random quick draw card. If you play it this turn, repeat this. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's like a late game, like, get a bunch of quick draws. Pew, 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 pew. Love that. I love the flavor on that, and I like the card too. I'll give that 4 stars. I think in the late game this works fine. You can probably get like at least 2 or 3, right? And I saw it was bugging, so we're gonna go back down here. Sheriff Barrel Brim. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry, if you have 20 or less health, open Badlands Jail. Badlands Jail is a 4 mana location. I assume you just get it, like, on the field. Make a minion go dormant for 3 turns, and it has 3 charges. Wow. Or 3 uses. So every other turn, 3 times you can make a minion go dormant for 3 turns. That's pretty insane, not gonna lie. having 20 or less health can be achieved in most games. Like, I feel like most decks can do this, and I think Badlands Jail is really good. I'm giving this 4 stars, because, I mean, it is conditional, but I feel like that condition can be met in most decks. Oh god. Website, please. Cobalt Miner. 2 mana, 1/1, Battlecry, Excavate a Treasure. I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's not great, but it's like fine. It supports the excavation strategy, which I guess is good, but 2 mana 1/1 isn't really great. It's a 2 mana 1/1 draw an average card, I would say. Average to okay card. I'll give it like 3 stars just because I think you need the excavation if you can get it. And then it's bugging again. Thunderbringer. 8 mana 6/6 elemental beast with taunt. Death rattle, summon an elemental and beast from your deck. That's like fine, right? But obviously it's deck dependent. I'll probably give this like 3 stars. It's a decent payoff, but at the same time it comes down at 8 mana. Odds are your opponent can pretty easily deal with this and whatever comes from it. And the problem is also the mana cost of the beasts that you're drafting. You're probably drafting some early game as well, and they could be beasts and elementals, so summoning them from the deck would be pretty bad. Yeah, generally speaking, I don't think this card is great, but yeah, 3 stars seems fair. And that was all the cards, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my review. Again, I'm not the best arena player, but this is just my opinions. I wanted to get them out there, and hopefully this video is up before the expansion releases. Have a good one, everyone. See you around and subscribe for more Hearthstone content.